great pretender Alyssa Farah Griffin strikes again. The woman who claims to be a conservative. The woman who is supposedly the voice of reason amongst the leftist yentas on The View. The lovely woman who is sitting in the same chair as Elizabeth Hasselbeck. Someone who outright refused to become a yenta. A beautiful woman who tried to speak logic to this audience of lonely women whose minds have been clouded with the smog of toxic mouth farts and the powerful boodle breeze of the whoopee cushion. That is the chair that Alyssa Farah Griffin is sitting in. When Joy Behar is talking about extending terms of abortion, Alyssa Farah Griffin, she is supposed to be the yenta that says, that's probably not a good idea. When Sun Hostin is creating stories of mythical racism, Farah Griffin, she is supposed to be the one that says, you're full of shit. On The View, Alyssa Farah Griffin, she is supposed to be the voice of normal people. But within the span of a couple of years, Alyssa Farah Griffin has been indoctrinated. She has been diagnosed with a stage 3 case of OMB, Orange Man Bad, with the disease rapidly approaching stage 4 levels. Instead of being the voice of normal people on The View, Alyssa Farah Griffin, she has become the great pretender. If you haven't already, make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Yesterday, we talked about Rachel Maddow and the donut diva Brian Stelter promoting a message of fear. Rachel Maddow, she was interviewed by some doofus that no one's ever heard of named Oliver Darcy for some CNN newsletter named Unreliable Sources. This interview, it was barely noticed by normal people. Hell, normal people don't watch CNN on television. If they're not watching the polished turd, why in the hell would they waste their time reading the polished turd? During the interview with Super Dork Oliver, Ralph Maddow explained the traumatic fear that she is living through, knowing the Trumper could get reelected. Oscar, this is so traumatizing. The orange man wants to put me in the orange jumpsuit. He's going to round up the media and put us in camps. Otis, I have never been camping. Will there be WNBA dump divers provided to help us set up the porta potties? I can't handle this, Omar. 24 hours later, Brian Stelter, he put down the glazed stick and he made a rare appearance on CNN to confirm the fears of Rachel Maddow. Now, according to the woke media, if Donald Trump is reelected, he is going to follow a similar blueprint to Adolf. They believe he is going to round up members of the mainstream media and put them in detention camps or re-education camps, where the media would be taught to tell the truth. Now, obviously, that is not going to happen. The media is just trying to put fear into potential voters because that is the only strategy they have left. Their fearless leader, John Biden, he has given them absolutely nothing. Bill Clinton, he might have had a questionable personal life, but the economy was booming during his administration. If I remember correctly, I think Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich worked together to pass the first balanced budget in decades. Half the country didn't agree with Obama's policies, but the media, they could present him as a likable guy. They could work off of his charisma. They could use words like charismatic, eloquent, intelligent, youthful. Can't use any of those adjectives with John Biden. This dude wasn't an eloquent speaker decades ago when he was still cognizant. Johnny B. Biden has not been youthful in my 39 years on this planet. The only tactic they have left is to run a campaign based on fear. Basically, the media is presenting two options. Do you want 4 more years of misery under John Biden, or do you want 4 years of fear and emotional trauma from mean tweets under Orange Man Bad? Since she is sitting in the only common sense chair on The View, Alyssa Farah Griffin, she is supposed to be the one that highlights the outright absurdity of this propaganda. Instead, She earned her woke welfare by doubling down on it. And she couldn't even be original when doubling down. She used the same descriptions that Rachel Maddow used earlier this week. A second Trump presidency will be filled with rage and revenge. Actually, I think she said retribution instead of revenge, but it's the same damn thing. Earlier this morning, Alyssa Farah Griffin, she was interviewed by Mediaite. Now, this was a huge booking for Mediaite, since AFG is such a big star. The interview with the big star, it was uploaded to YouTube about 8, maybe 9 hours ago. It's already going viral with a massive 411 views. The interview was about 45 minutes long, and to be honest with you, when she is away from the yentas on The View, Alyssa Farah Griffin, she seems like a lovely woman. Unlike the other yentas, she doesn't seem mean-spirited. She doesn't seem to have this passionate disdain for toxic masculinity. The problem with Alyssa Farah Griffin, she seems to model her political views after the wrong politician. During the interview, she compared her political leanings to Mitt Romney. Mittens? Mr. Sharman? Without a doubt, the softest dude in Washington? Mittens is afraid of roaches. That's why you never see him attending games in the WNBA dump. It does not get more establishment than Mitt Romney. But, to each their own. If AFG wants to idolize Mittens, good for her. But you can idolize Mittens without demonizing your former boss, Donald Trump. Especially if you were going to demonize him with false allegations. Alyssa Farah Griffin, she echoed the sentiments of Rachel Maddow and the bald bull, Brian Stelter. Watch for yourself.
Rachel Maddow did an interview with CNN recently, and she said that she fears being sent to a detention camp if Trump is reelected. Now, she was speaking about his pledge to do mass deportations of migrants, and she suggested, we don't know that it's just going to be migrants in these camps. It could be members of the media, enemies of Trump, people like me. My instinct is to dismiss that kind of rhetoric as a little bit of hysteria. Do you think that there's any seriousness to those ideas, or is that all a little bit over the top?
I think you need to take him literally, but I think you also, I hate to even spend my time trying to be in the mind of Donald Trump, but read the tea leaves a bit about the priorities of things. Rage and retribution are going to be the governing principle, but I think it's going to start with the biggest deportation program you've ever seen, and I think that includes DACA recipients, a lot of people who've lived their entire life in this country, don't know their country of birth that they came from. And I think there'll be real chilling effects on media. I would see it more as tying people up in lawsuits and trying to, sick the FCC on people, making it as difficult as possible to do real journalism, to say anything critical of him. But nothing is out of the realm of possibility. Like, keep in mind, this is a person who esteems Viktor Orban, somebody who likes the way that Xi Jinping runs China. I mean, that is a playbook.
To his credit, whoever the hell that dude is from Mediaite, he tried to give the Farah Griffin an out here. He set her up beautifully by dismissing Rachel Maddow's ridiculous claims as hysterical rhetoric. All AFG had to say was, you're probably right. I don't agree with the Trumper. I question his character, but I think it is absurd to believe that he is going to round up the media and put us in detention camps. It's that simple. That's all she had to say. But instead of saying that, Alyssa Farah Griffin channels her inner Yenta and basically agrees with Rachel Maddow. She claims that a second Trump presidency will be filled with rage and retribution. The comments they are talking about, it's Trump saying that he is going to deport illegal immigrants, or as Rach and Farah prefer to call them, people crossing the southern border without proper documentation. Now, unless I missed it, I have not found a single instance where Trump has said he is going to round up the media and put them in camps. But during the interview, Alyssa Griffin, she claimed that I get more hatred from normal people than I do from parishioners at Woke United Methodist. I wonder why. For starters, Shouldn't hate anyone. I don't hate Alyssa Farah Griffin. I just think that she is pretending to be something that she's not. But it's not hard to figure out why conservatives would be more pissed off with AFG than parishioners at Woke United Methodist. I'm sure a lot of conservatives view AFG as a traitor. She claims that she didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I would assume she didn't vote for Trump in 2020. I'd be willing to bet, especially since she is collecting woke welfare from ABC, that AFG is going to be voting for Johnny B. Biden in November. The thing is, Alyssa Farah Griffin seems like a smart woman. Matter of fact, most of these people working in the mainstream media, they're not dummies. They're just inauthentic. There is no way you can convince me that these people in the media believe that John Biden is fit for office. Right now, Johnny B. Biden, he's over in Europe. He's attending the G7 conference and he met with the Pope earlier today. Now watch this footage of John Biden. You tell me, if this is the man that you want representing you globally. First clip, it features John Biden appearing to give a little smooch to the Pope. Pope appears to be incredibly uncomfortable with the gesture, and who can blame him? If some fossil was leaning in towards me and trying to put his saliva on my forehead, I would be uncomfortable with it too. But the second clip is John Biden along with political leaders from Europe. I don't know what the hell they're doing. It appears they are watching some dude with a parachute who, for reasons unknown, the guy with the parachute is standing on the ground instead of gliding through the air. But at one point, John Biden, he begins wandering aimlessly. Maybe he saw a hummingbird and thought it was an old friend. Maybe he had another boo-boo and he was looking for the nearest restroom. Either way, the Italian prime minister politely grabbed him and reminded him that he was the president and, he couldn't wander off to speak to Mufasa. Watch for yourself. Look. This is not even funny anymore. This is what, the third, maybe the fourth time this week that John Biden has seemed to be completely out of it. 2 weeks ago, he fell asleep during a Memorial Day ceremony. Last week, he allegedly caught a case of the raging runs and had to be escorted off stage by pretend Dr. Jill. Once he returned to the event, he assumed his usual afternoon position and fell asleep again. Monday night at the White House, he froze in place for over a minute while Kirk Franklin was encouraging people to praise the Lord. And now at the G7, he's trying to give the Pope a nice little smooch, and he is wandering through the jungle looking for Mufasa, the Lion King. Now keep in mind, the entire world is watching this. Is it any wonder why there is conflict in the Middle East? Is it any wonder why Vlad Putin felt emboldened to attack Ukraine? Is it any wonder why crime in major cities is rampant? Well, Casey, that's simply not true. Major cities are claiming that crime is on the decline. Is it? Is crime really on the decline, or is reporting crime on the decline? The combination of the incompetence of John Biden and the growing support of Donald Trump, it has got the mainstream media shook. These people are scared. They are afraid of another Trump term. Why? You tell me, why are they afraid of the Trumper? Also, give me your thoughts on Alyssa Farah Griffin spreading a message of fake fear. Do you think she really believes this? Or is Alyssa Farah Griffin just another paid propagandist? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share the video. Appreciate your support. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.